Today I'd like to demonstrate how the system manages user permissions and system security overall. And the first and most important thing to know is that the system comes with only one predefined user, and that user's name is admin. And it's very important that the person who takes that role be either the owner of the company or the president and CEO. Reason being is that that default user, admin, is the only user that can never be locked out of the system by anyone else. And I'll get into that in a little more detail here in a moment. But if we go into the security module to begin with, and just take a look at all the permissions that are available within the system, what you'll see here is a total of 477. There are a few more I'll get into as well, but these are the main permissions that control just about everything you can do in this system. And it's very important that you assign these carefully to each employee to make sure that they can only do those tasks and have those responsibilities that you so desire. And now if we take a quick look at roles, and we'll go to all roles, and what you have here is the system comes with a number of pre-established roles for each primary area of responsibility within the company, but these are only suggestions and can easily be modified or deleted as desired, and you can make up your own role. Bottom line is that each individual permission can be assigned to any role or any user as you so desire. And so for the purposes of this demonstration, I've gone ahead and added in a couple of additional users in my dummy company, Apex Manufacturing. And if we take a look at all users, and here we have Amy Jones, A Jones username, and we have Tom Davis, T Davis username. And I want to take a look at first Amy. And so if we take a look at the permissions that Amy Jones has, she is a base role user, which everyone has to be to get into the system. And then she's what's referred to as a super user. And a super user can do basically anything they want to do in the system other than getting into the area we're in now, which is system administration. And in this area, you can modify what any employee can and cannot do. So having hired her as a system administrator, she has full capabilities the same as I do, with one exception. I am now able to go into the edit key, and there's one thing here, as I mentioned earlier, I can do that she can't do if she were to access my record, and that is that I can lock her out, which I will not actually do in this scenario, but just to demonstrate that would be how you would do it. And one other thing while we're in here is that I said that the 477 permissions covered almost everything. For some reason, they broke out these three over here separately, as far as being able to update closed orders, can update a closed AP, accounts payable, and also for updating sales order terms. So those three items for some reason are here in a different area, and so they need to be checked or unchecked depending on those permissions that you want to assign to each employee. So backing back out of here, let's take a look at Tom Davis. And so in this scenario, I hired Tom as a buyer, and I assigned him the authority that is included with the role of purchasing, the default that was established in the system, just to demonstrate. And so if you were to go down here in the area below, it would show you exactly what all those permissions are, and it would show you by each module. So as an example, if you went into accounting, it would allow him to, in the accounts payable area, it would allow him to find an AP. He wouldn't be able to change it, but he could find it, which in purchasing, you'd certainly want to have that capability, at least in my view. And so you can go through each of the modules below, and you can look at specifically what's been assigned, and then you can hit the edit key if so desired, and you can either add or you can remove an existing authority. And so that's how Tom looks. Backing back out of here, because Tom is in purchasing, there's another area that's quite important that I also want to mention here. So now going to the control panel and scrolling down to what's called approval management, you'll see a list of all of the orders or the order types in the system that require specific approvals be assigned to individual users and the amount of money, where there's money involved, that approval is based on. And so if we go into PO approvals, you'll find just myself and Tom. And being the owner of the company, I just gave myself $100 million. It's whatever, there's no limit. And then Tom has a limit of $10,000, and he is also able to approve his own PO at that level. So a very important feature, or permission I should say, in addition to the 477 listed in the main permission area. Okay, and so backing out of this, and so there are just two more areas that are quite important that I want to still cover here. One of them, I'm going to go to the security module again and down to what's called the operation log. And I'm just going to say search by date, and I'll just open up the from date by a month. Going back a little bit further because there's such limited information right now in this startup dummy company, but we'll just go for that date there. And the bottom line is that even though it's a limited amount of time and this dummy company's been set up, this is a log that records everything that's being done in the system by anyone who's accessing the system, each time that they do and each thing that they do. So it's a very comprehensive log, and to the extent you ever need to go back and possibly add some clarity to something that took place in the system and you can't be certain of how it transpired, you can certainly search this log by user or by transaction type. There's a number of ways of looking at it, and so quite useful if and when the need arises. Okay, and backing back out of there, the other item that's quite important is going to the control panel again and going into general settings. We come over to security policy. And essentially what this is it's basically defining two things: the password lifetime for all users of the system, and also the minimum password length in digits and or characters. And so again, very important to system security. Just wanted to point it out. And I think with that having been covered, I'm going to back out of here. I think that will wrap up this presentation on user permissions and overall system security in what I believe to be a world-class, fully integrated manufacturing ERP system. Thanks for watching.